think, Jess, why does your camera keep doing that? Anyway, there she is. Yay! Hi. Welcome to Endless Night Gaming, a mostly feminine channel. I'm Lizzie. These are my friends. We are playing Curse of the House of Rookwood tonight. You'll notice that Ziff isn't able to join us. I feel better and come and join us for the next game. So, friends, let's go ahead and dive right in. Everybody ready?
Let's do it.
Yes, here we go. The house is silent except for the faint creak of floorboards settling and the distant tick of a wall clock somewhere down the hall. In the foyer, under the warm glow of the overhead light, a neat stack of papers sits on the old oak table. It looks freshly printed. The pages crisp and white, edges sharply cut, perfectly aligned. The kind of script you might find on a director's desk just before shooting begins. The cover is simple, plain white with no decoration beyond the title typed in bold black letters. Inheritance. Each one of you notice the subtitle beneath the title flickering, as if the ink can't quite decide what it wants to say. One moment it reads a family drama, then it shifts to a gothic romance, and then it slides to a horror story. The changes are subtle but unmistakable, like watching words ripple across water. The paper itself reflects the light in a way that feels almost too smooth, too clean. It sits there patiently, untouched, but the air around it feels just a little different, cooler, quieter, as if the house itself is waiting for someone to open those pages. The familiar edges of the foyer seem to hold their breath, and you realize maybe this isn't just a stack of papers, it is the beginning of something. Stevie, what sound in the foyer pulls your attention right now? And is there anything familiar that feels suddenly strange or out of place?
I think the sound of something falling or crashing. It seems like a lot of things crash here. We constantly feel like things are falling or glass breaking or something. And it just feels like, I know, it's like I'm in a strange place. I'm still thinking about the fact that I'd forgotten that I'd signed the contract. And I'm feeling like pieces of my memory are gone. And that makes me feel like even though this is supposed to be my home, I kind of feel lost and like this is a strange place for me now.
Very good. Miranda, what do the shadows in this room look like to you? And are there any shapes or movements that are flickering in your other sight?
Absolutely. There are just little like flashes of a scurry of something small, maybe a little bigger than like a rodent. But they're just like the hint of movement, the suggestion of movement that's sort of like catch like the tiniest silhouette of something and then it's gone. Constantly just sort of like in every deep corner flickering around as if we're being watched by a hidden multitude.
Thank you. Penelope, what colors or light catch your eye here, and how does the glow of color in this foyer affect your mood or your emotions?
There's an orange hue, like on the outskirts, almost like a vignette of some sort, clouding the corners and getting a little bit lighter as you look towards the center where this script lies. And it feels, the energy in this feels almost like an antsy, it's almost an anxious feeling, like a waiting for the next shoe to drop.
Thank you. Sybil, what reflections do you notice in the surfaces around you, and how do they seem to change as you moved or shift your glance?
Some of the reflections are those there, but some of them, you know, out the corner of my eye, sometimes seem different. Like something's wrong, but when I go to look at it, it's fine. But the most it happens to is one of the larger mirrors in the foyer that I see myself in, and it's wrong. No matter how many times I look away and look back, there's something wrong.
Family, you've just returned home from dinner. Elias has gone off to his study for the evening. What would you like to do?
Miranda looks at the script, eyeballs it for just a second, like she's going to pick it up, and then shakes her head and says, I need some fresh air. I'll be outside if you need me, and moves towards the back of the house where we have like I really think like the back in the backyard of the house we have like this high level view of um, Beverly Hills kind of spreading out, and then the city beyond, and she's going to go out to this gazebo that's out there, grabbing a glass and a bottle of wine as she goes and heading out that way.
The one thing that catches your attention, Miranda, is you've just picked up your bottle and your glass and moved towards the back door to head into the back of the property. And you're passing the conservatory, and a flicker of movement catches your attention. You glance over, and there's a woman in sort of a 1940s blue with white polka dot dress, her hair up in perfect victory curls, just arranging flowers in a crystal vase. You're almost past the door when you notice it, and you take a step back, and there's nobody there. But you could have sworn you saw that movement.
I look there, I look down at the alcohol. I think I just need to drink more. And move off towards the gazebo, already pouring as I walk.
The other three of you?
I think Stevie would like to go close to the script and just touch it with her hands where the title keeps changing. Like she's still thinking that maybe it's a trick of the light, or maybe there's something wrong with her eyesight, or her memory is just going and she thinks she read something and it's not what was written there. So she's gonna touch it and see if it's real. And if up close the title seems to be changing still.
Surely it was a trick of the light as you put your hand on it. There's no subtitle, just inheritance. It's a good
Oh
title.
my god. Maybe I need a drink too. I'm gonna go and get like a glass of wine or something.
Where are you headed?
To where Maeve keeps her secret stash. I'll go in there before Maeve finds out that I'm in there. Quickly get a bottle and go to the kitchen.
You push the door to the kitchen open, and the butler standing there in a starch white apron startles you for just a moment, and you blink, and you could have sworn there was somebody standing there just a moment
The
ago.
hell? I think I need to get my eyesight checked as well as my some sort of memory exercises. What is going on with me? Pour myself a glass.
Okay.
And I'll go to a balcony, but a different balcony from where Maeve is.
Where
Like the
Miranda
balcony
is.
in the back. Yeah, where Miranda is.
I
Sorry.
gotcha. It's okay. Sybil,
I
Penelope?
I
So
am
when
gonna
that's
I'm going to pass the script all I want no parts of this, truly. I'm going to find my way upstairs to my bedroom and do some reading.
Okay. You head upstairs down the hallway, and the old intercom system, it's a remnant from the 60s. You could tell it was cutting edge at the time, but now it's dated. Nobody uses it. Hasn't been used the entire time that you've been here, but it just kind of crackles as you walk past, and you swear you hear the whisper of your father's name from that intercom.
I approach the intercom and I push every single button available to see if any of them will replay what I just heard, and none of them do.
There's a series of vague electric noises as you push these buttons, but then suddenly there's a burst of static from it, and you do hear a voice. She never got over what happened to Reginald, you know. Still blames herself. It crackles again loudly and falls silent.
I take a step back and I look around to see if anybody's there, to see if anybody could be messing with me because I don't trust anyone here. And now I'm incredibly freaked out. So I scurry off to my bedroom and slam the door shut.
Okay. Sybil.
Sybil hates mirrors uncovered. It drives her insane. It makes her feel like she's going more crazy, and often she'll try and cover them, and normally she leaves the ones in the foyer covered. So she grabs the bit of fabric that must have fallen on the floor at some point while they're out for dinner and grabs a chair and is immediately tucking it in, trying to not look at her own reflection as she's, covering this mirror back up. Like, and she's only thinking, this is a trap, someone's messing with me again. Is it Miranda? Is she fucking with me? Did she do it like just before we left?
There was a sharp crack of glass as soon as you hang that piece of cloth over the mirror.
Sybil almost stumbles and loses her grip and almost clatters to the floor on her back. She's not a very well balanced person.
In so many ways.
Yes. And she sort of just hesitates, but she lifts back the corner of the fabric at the side to sort of have a peek and see if it is broken. So if it is, then she's throwing the entire thing out immediately.
Yes, the mirror has cracked on a diagonal, but that's not what catches your attention. What catches your attention is the appearance of a film crew moving through your house behind you.
Nope. I'm just gonna. And she tucks the fabric tight as she can around the sides, and with very ungainly balance, steps down and probably hits the floor with a bit of a thud. She almost has to jump a little to try and keep most of her balance, and the chair's skidded it, pushed it more against the wall, making a thump. And she's like beelining to the door to get this mirror far away. And it's going, nope, not today, nope. We're not dealing with any of this supernatural bullshit. Fuck it.
None of that, eh? All right. How does anybody have a way they would like to pass the rest of this evening?
I think I'm gonna find that little stack of papers that I found in my studio when cleaning up, and I think that that's gonna catch my eye, and I'm gonna read that
What are
before I
they?
start reading any of the books that I have.
What is the papers that
I don't
you
know
have?
yet. I'm not sure. I have to open it to figure it out,
Okay.
and so I open it to begin reading, and it's somebody's handwriting, obviously, very obviously somebody's handwriting, and it's as I'm reading, it's a love letter, but I have no context whatsoever to this love letter. So I have to go talk to somebody about it because I need context. Now I'm curious.
Where are you headed?
And first things first, I just want to go see whoever I can run into. I don't really have anybody in mind that I'm headed to see, um, but I think I stumble upon Stevie first.
Okay.
And Stevie's got her glass of wine, and I am just gonna approach her because unfortunately she's the first person that I've come across in the house.
Probably not the one
Not
you
my
were hoping for.
No, definitely not the person that I was hoping to see first. Um, but I just tap her on her shoulder and say, "Hey, do you recognize this handwriting?"
As she turns around, you see that her eyes are all red and looks like she's been crying. Oh, I'm sorry, you startled me a little. Oh, sure, let me check. Oh, not really, no. Where did you find these?
I found them in my studio when I was cleaning up. You don't recognize the handwriting at all?
I don't think so.
You actually are quite familiar with this handwriting. It is your departed husband's handwriting.
Yet I don't know whose writing this is.
Okay. Can I have it back then?
Um, could I hold on to it for a little bit?
Do you know something about it?
No, I thought I'd show it to Sybil, or, maybe she knows. Maybe Elias knows. Maybe it's somebody from the office.
I think I can ask them myself. And I try to snatch it out of your hands.
I let it go.
I storm off to find the next person in the house because obviously you're not wanting to be helpful.
Could I roll a guile roll or something to
Tell me
see
what
if
you're trying to
Maeve?
do.
I want to see if Maeve has created this letter just to mess with me.
Miranda?
Sorry, I keep going Miranda.
That's
Sorry.
okay. I know. We're working on it. Okay. Well, I think we know what you're hoping to accomplish with this role. What are you afraid will happen if you fail this role?
Oh, she will find out something that she kind of knew in the back of her mind, but she'd been telling herself that it can't be true. She'd always convinced herself that Penelope's mom was actually, just a little fling. They didn't weren't together for very long, and Penelope was an accident. But reading that letter, and it's a love letter, and it's not to her, so she's
Okay.
trying to see if it's Maeve or not. That's just kind of
Miranda.
Miranda,
Yes.
kind of messing with it.
They both begin with M.
Gorgeous. Make your
You've
roll
got it out
for
for
me,
me today. What
please.
did I do to you?
Sorry. just that your name is so lovely that I just want to say it.
Beautiful. Make your roll for me. And I still don't have rolls on screen, so just enjoy your die. Your IRL dice.
Should have opened this before I started.
That's okay. Making good time tonight.
Here we go. So, what dice should I roll?
So, how many do you have in Guile?
I've got 2.
Okay, so you can roll 2 if you would like. That is a medium effort. So, if you roll 1, that's just kind of a meh. If it's 2, you're like making a real effort. If it's 3, you're using your power. So, it's up to you,
But
however you would like to roll.
is it a
And you can
D6?
use your. Yes, it's D6.
It's
though.
it's D6s,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
And you're looking for a 4-up,
Yep.
Okay.
but
So I'll
not
roll
doubles.
2.
But what?
But not doubles. You don't want to hit
You
doubles.
don't want
'cause then you
doubles.
lose die.
I got a 7.
What are the
What are the
individual ones?
dice? Yep.
Three
Oh.
and 4.
Sorry, a 3 and 2?
4.
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. So you managed to succeed. You know that this is not Miranda messing with you. And maybe you're not quite giving into the full truth of this situation, but you also know that this was not written to you. Was it? I don't know. Your memory has maybe been slipping.
Yeah. Oh, Reggie, you fucking asshole.
All right.
Now I am off to see the next person in the house, who will probably be Sybil, because Miranda's hiding from us all.
I'm covering up mirrors. She's now, because of that first ones in the foyer being uncovered, she's sort of, on her usual stress about her protections and is trying to cover up the rest of the mirrors. They're in the public spaces.
Hey, Sybil. Do you mind if I borrow you for a second?
Hey, speak a little sooner when I'm not standing on a chair, please. She sort of like finishes tucking the cloth around this mirror and then like sort of stumbles off the chair as normal. Goes, sure. What is it?
Do you recognize the handwriting on this letter?
So she takes the paper and that. Do I recognize it as Reginald's writing?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's most definitely my brother's.
As in my father, and I take it from you?
You are the kid of Reginald, and Reginald's my brother, so yes.
Okay. And now I have in my brain put together why Stevie did not say yes.
Where did you find it? I've not seen anything with his writing in a little while.
I found it when I was out cleaning up my studio. It was under a bunch of like boxes and old stuff. Yeah. Thanks.
No worries. Careful because we've already had one mirror crack and almost break. So
Doesn't that mean
just
like bad luck or something?
yes, it does. Which is why I've gotten rid of that mirror and I'm covering the rest, and then I'm going to do some stuff to try and protect myself because I am not dealing with 7 years bad luck. I mean, it's bad luck enough being in this family some days.
Well, good luck, Sybil. Good luck. And I turn
No,
and I go back to my room clutching this letter like with dear life.
It's the scent of cigarette smoke that catches your attention first, Penelope, when you're walking past the library. And peeking inside, there's a man in a suit reading a newspaper in one of the chairs with their back to you.
I stop and like rub my eyes. I have to make sure that like being in this house is not driving me crazy. Be- because I really think it is.
It the figure is still seated in the chair.
So I'm going to ever so cautiously, like little tiny baby steps, the tiniest of baby steps, trying not to make any noise because I am inquisitive and curious, but also really scared.
You circle around the side of the chair, and the figure that you expected is no longer there, but there is a stack of newspapers, their headlines splayed out on display. One says, Estate's greenhouse suffers structural collapse, and another says, Family grapples with tragedy amidst growing mystery. And one says, Local heiress vanishes near estate grounds.
I pick up the one about the heiress vanishing and I begin to read the article.
Okay. It talks of a Catherine Rookwood, one who vanished in the property surrounding the Rookwood estate. And you search your memory banks. You know, you haven't been a part of this family for very long, but you've never heard anybody talk of a Catherine. So you look a little bit closer at the headline and you realize that it is dated August the 12th, 2012.
I am obviously like my stomach flips, and now I wonder who in the family is playing this like twisted prank on me, and I wonder if this is like maybe Stevie's way of getting rid of me. Like, are you trying to bully me out of this house? And now I'm angry. So I'm gonna storm. I am going to crumple the newspaper up, toss it aside, take all of the rest of them, cross them, throw them away, throw them around, and storm off to my bedroom and slam the door shut. And I just begin to cry.
I think Miranda is coming in as the door slams, and she just kind of looks up and frowns. And has a weird moment of like empathy and just goes up and sort of like quietly knocks on the door. Uh, Penelope, dear, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Dear, I've been an actress for a very long time. I know when people are lying.
So I was sitting with my back against the door, head in hands, knees to chest. So I stand up and I swing the door open, tears, makeup streamed all down my face. And I just have this like defeated yet still combative demeanor. And I'm just like, what? Do you need something?
She grabs your arm and leads you over to your bed, kind of shushing you down, not really giving you much chance to say no. Is already in her purse, pulling out some wipes and stuff, and cleaning up the makeup and stuff on your face already. And she says, I know it's been a stressful week. I apologize for losing my temper about the things earlier tonight and the broken spotlight and everything. I just and she kind of stops and she goes, honestly, I don't know what the hell I'm doing right now, but I'm just helping. Just trying to help. And she takes a deep, kind of like unsteady breath and finishes cleaning up your face and says, there. That's much better. Much better. Sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry. What is going on? What's got you so upset?
Can you explain this? And I hand you the letter.
I take a read through the letter. What do I get from it?
Penelope, would you like to tell us what's in the letters?
It's a love letter that Reginald wrote to someone. And it details a longing, like the heart's longing to just exist alongside this other person. And it details some memories that he made with this person, along a beach somewhere, and just very much what you would expect of a loving, doting husband.
Can I um can I make like a guile roll or something to see if I can pick up on context clues to maybe like get an idea of who this was written to?
I like that. What are you afraid of happening if you do not succeed here?
I'm hmm I'm afraid that these have been placed here by our beneficiaries, and that because these are being revealed, we will owe more. Like this will make the sacrifice even more.
I like that. So
I'm gonna roll 2 die. I'm gonna roll from one guile and one from weird.
let's do it.
And I got 2 4s, so I'll lose a die.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to lose my only guile die.
Would you like to tell us about the mechanics there, May?
Yes. So a 4 is a success, a 4 over is a success. Whenever you roll doubles, you lose the die for one of the die for the stat that you rolled in. If it is a supernatural roll, as in you're spending 3 and you roll a double, then you will get a mark on your curse, which pushes you further towards being consumed by your curse. So I will lose my last guile die, which is unfortunate, but I did get 2 successes.
So very, very nice. You with your context, very much knowing your brother, probably the closest to him out of all the siblings. And maybe you had even seen evidence of this little affair that he was having with someone who worked for him. And everybody sort of brushed it off as just this office indiscretion. And this is showing a long-term love affair that produced Penelope.
She, by the time she's done reading, she's actually actively crying herself. But she wears makeup that doesn't run. Um, of course she does. And she's just, oh, Reggie. Reggie. Oh, sorry, dear. I think I might know who this was to. And, you know, dear, I really, truly thought that this was the circumstances that produced you were just a man having his fun, right? Just a fling, a whatever, you know, to get away from, you know. But these are beautiful. These are absolutely gorgeous. I hand them back to you and I said, I treasure these. I don't know how much of your brother is left anymore, or how much of my brother is left anymore. Treasure these. And she gets up and
What
is
are you
kind of like
telling
straightening
me?
herself out. I'm sorry?
What are you telling me? Are you telling me that this letter was written to my mother?
That's. I can't be 1,000% certain, but yes, I believe so. There's no way Reginald would have ever written something this powerful to just anyone. He was a poetic man, but practical as well. So this is. I don't know. Where did you find them?
Uh, at this point, I'm crying again. I in the studio when I was cleaning, they were under like some boxes on the floor. Are you sure? Like, are you sure?
I cannot be 100% sure he kept his secrets, but I just can't imagine anyone he would have a child with. And he had written your name down. That's how I found you. He told me that you were born when you were born. He knew. He just died shortly after. Could never get to you. So. And she pauses here a minute and she goes, I was too heartbroken to go looking for you. And for that, I genuinely apologize. I should have done it earlier. But honestly, maybe I saved you from having to grow up in this nightmare of a house.
You saved me from knowing my father.
That was the wrong words. I'm sorry. Being a child in this family is hard.
Being a child with no family is even harder.
That's fair. That's fair. I stand up again and kind of like wipe tears away. And I said, yes, I am sure those letters are to your mother. I know my brother.
thank you, I guess, for thank you.
You're welcome.
Just thank you.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know how those got there, though. They definitely weren't there when we had people put them in. I went through and made sure nothing actually incriminating could get to there.
Maybe you didn't check well enough.
Maybe things are unusual right now.
Are they?
Even for us. And she will stride out the door with a one backwards glance and then nothing else.
I ask that you pull the door shut on your way out.
Yep, she does so.
And now I'm left to unpack all that Miranda just, trauma dumped on my bed about my life.
I would
all these things I
never.
didn't
Trauma
know.
bonded now.
I would never.
I just learned my own lore. I didn't know any of this about myself. And Miranda just comes in here and says it like it's normal. Like she's not revealing my entire life history to me. And now I have to sit with this and a love letter that is just so profoundly beautiful, and it changes my perspective on everything. This family, my father, my life, all of it.
Okay. We'd like to accomplish anything else before we bring the night to an end?
Yes.
Yes.
With the broken mirror that I took outside, sort of try and remember where like the nearest graveyard is, or where we have the nearest tombstone, because it said
Tell me.
if you well, knowing our family history, we probably have a few on the
On the property?
on the property.
Okay. I'm here for
so
it.
she takes
Right out next to the apothecary.
So she sort of carries this mirror over to, the family graveyard, and sort of puts it down next to, one of the older tombstones and uncovers the fabric. Sort of see if it's broken any further with moving it.
It actually surprises you that it hasn't broken any further. It's just these two large pieces.
Sort of gingerly, we'll flip it over, take the backing off to take out one of the shards, and it says that if you touch a tombstone with, a shard of the broken mirror, that it then will break the curse. The 7 years curse that always comes after, breaking a mirror. And she's probably done this many times, various different things, sort of as a protection. And she sort of has what she calls her mirror gravestone, because she's got this hole that it's never, the grass would maybe start growing over it, but it's never fully grown back in. And she grabs a nearby shovel that she often keeps there, digs up, and carefully puts that mirror inside to, bury it and hopefully add on a bit of further protection and not deal with it. And she's very careful to not look in the mirror again.
Okay.
And then she will go back home and hopefully sleep through the night peacefully without anything happening.
The thing that catches your attention as you're making your way back to the house is a light in the greenhouse. And you peek through, and there's a A man in a bowler hat carrying a leather briefcase, meandering through these pathways, one hand reaching out to touch the edges of a plant before stepping further. And you swear as you're watching, he reaches out and his gaze snaps to yours before he falls back and dissolves into the standing mist inside of this greenhouse. You make it back to the house safely.
She's a weird lady, Sybil. She always has a bit of salt on her. And typically it's like, those little packets that you get when you go to like takeaway places. And she opens one, chucks it over her left shoulder, and carries on after pocketing the wrapper.
Stevie, would you like to accomplish anything for the remainder of your evening?
I would like to seek out Sybil whenever she comes back,
Okay.
just so I can dump all my problems on her.
You almost stumble over this small little girl in a white dress. And it catches you by surprise, of course. But you trip over your own feet, slightly spilling the wine in your glass. And when you recover and turn, of course, there's nobody there. There's never been a child in this house. But you do catch Sybil as she steps through the front door.
Hey, you got a minute?
Yeah, I have a moment. Sort of with racking her brain about who the guy it was on her way back from the greenhouse. Could I roll sort of guile and weird to maybe try and work out what it was?
Tell me what you're hoping to accomplish with this role.
I'm hoping to find out what sort of thing the man was, because then Sybil knows what protections to start putting up around the house.
Okay. What are you afraid will happen if you don't figure this out?
Afraid that whatever it is has friends and it will hurt the Rookwood family.
I like that. Yes, you can roll some guile for me. How many would you like to roll?
Would I be able to put in some weird?
Oh, you most certainly could. How are you using your weird?
Well, a lot of her weird is sort of her fascination with supernatural and protecting the family from supernatural things, much to obviously unknowingly Miranda's disappointment or annoyance. So sort of digging on sort of the information she's learned over the years from various people and books and things.
Okay, I like it. How many would you like to roll? 3?
Yes.
Making a supernatural effort. I like it.
I'm going to use 2 guile and 1 weird.
Okay.
I have 3 dice. I'm hoping that they do some luck.
Oh, come along, doubles.
Well, we have.
Mushy always gets the worst rolls.
Surprisingly, I think one of the die is helping me out, because technically, it's still the 30th over in America, so it's still Pride Month, and it's the gay die that's helped me. I have
Well
a
done.
2, a 1, and a 6.
A 2, 1, and a 6.
6 is rainbow, of course.
Beautiful. This feels less. You are used to the supernatural. You have reached out to it. You have touched it. You have dealt with it and seen it and been a part of it. And this is nothing that you have ever known before. It is tied to whatever it is that lives inside of you. The curse in your veins is what is reaching outward, and it begins with that packet of paper sitting on that oak table. You can feel its influence spreading throughout the house and throughout the grounds, stronger and stronger every single moment.
Mm-mm. I don't like that. Nope. Mm-mm. Sorry.
You may be panicking a little as you come through the door.
Hey, what do you need? And as she's talking, she's like, she sort of waves for you to follow, and she's beelining for that paper. She doesn't know what she's going to do with it, but it's something.
Stevie follows, and she doesn't know how to start, so she'll kind of beat about the bush first. Like, have you seen these weird like ghosts around the house? I saw a
Uh-huh.
butler in the kitchen, and then he disappeared. Then I saw a little girl
Hmm.
in a white
Okay,
dress.
so that's 3 to count, let alone what maybe the others have seen. Sort of, is the paper still where we all left it?
Yeah?
Sort of goes to it, and she's like, grabs her handkerchief, sort of uses it to hold the paper, and she's holding it far away, like, this is the source of the issue. I don't know what to do with it.
Should we
I think
bury it?
I don't know, because that may cement it here further.
Hmm.
That's the issue. Some things you're supposed to bury. I don't know anything about this, and it's too late. So Lena's going to be asleep. I don't. Oh,
Should we burn it?
maybe, but not here. Did you see that bit of paper that Penelope had?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh,
So I thought like maybe Miranda was, up to her tricks again, but seems like it's the real deal.
yeah, that very much. Yeah, she asked me, and I told her straight. And then she
Yeah.
stormed off, and then I heard a door slam. So
It's like feels like I just kind of lost him again. Like he died, then I find out that he wasn't faithful to me. It's like just losing your partner all over again.
well, the more and more this weird stuff happens, more and more I don't think it was an accident. Obviously, not your fault either. And she sort of like her eyes flick between Stevie and the paper, unknowing what to do with this bit of paper.
The title page is what catches your attention. It's the subtitle. A Family Matter, The Grove, Rehearsal. Flickers.
Doing that thing again, isn't it?
You see the same thing?
Yeah, I thought I was like there was something wrong with my eyesight, but it's flickering, right? You see it too?
Yep. Look, I have said for years and years and years that there's weird supernatural shit that goes on. Little things been adding up here and there. That's why there's salt on every windowsill. That's why, if we're going to have mirrors, one, I cover them because mirrors are portals to other places. And especially you cannot have two mirrors facing each other, because that is just a portal for things to come through. She sort of gesturing madly, like still holding this bit of paper.
And it keeps
that-
changing. An heir's duty, what was promised, written in blood, casting the curse, the second take, over and over and over.
I always thought you were overreacting a little bit, but I think I'm fully on your side now. Whatever we need to do,
Right?
cover all the mirrors, salt everything, burn that book.
Ooh. Keep some of these on you. And she pulls out of her cardigan pocket a handful of salt packets.
Thanks.
Anything, something weird happens, an easy thing, rip one open, chuck it over your left shoulder, and you're good.
Okay. Stevie puts it in her pocket.
You have acquired salt.
Oh,
You
this is
want to
probably
go
a
out
bad idea.
and far away from the house and burn it?
I'm gonna see if the inside bit is changing. Is it like
Okay.
a stack of papers? Just confirm.
Yeah, it's a bound packet of papers. It is a
Okay.
script.
She puts it down. She uses her handkerchief to like sort of, so she's not touching the paper directly, and
Okay.
flick through to see if the stuff inside is changing.
The first
if it
thing
alters
that
script.
you realize is that you do not understand a word of this script. It's written in some sort of language that you don't understand.
Can I try and guess like an origin, whether if it's like, you know, Asian, Eastern? Sometimes you make guesses through the character shapes.
It has no sort of familiar context to you at all.
Stevie, can you read any of this?
No. What language is that?
I don't know.
I just remember another weird thing that Elias told us. He
What?
didn't say anything about weird language, but he said he read the whole script. But while he was reading it, it was the most interesting script he'd ever read. But once he finished, he couldn't remember anything from the story, which I thought was odd. But then I thought that was just Elias being Elias.
Yeah. Let's just take it off property. That is what is bringing those people here. At least, it's drawing them here. I saw like a guy in a bowler hat in the greenhouse, and Sybil's already walking off, very
I'll
briskly.
follow.
Are you headed?
Okay, slow down. Let me catch up.
On our land, like, how far does it reach until
Tell
it
me.
hits like city or would?
Oh, I think we had established at one point that you guys were pretty far removed from the city. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
So, I'm gonna start walking far, like in one direction where I know there's a bit of woodland that's off our property,
Okay.
and I'm going there.
All right.
I'll be
Storming.
following.
You make
just
your
to
way
make
there.
sure. Yeah, we're both safe.
Okay.
Gonna sort of check my pockets to see maybe if I have, matches or a lighter or something to set a
Oh,
light.
I have a lighter. I always carry a lighter. That's the good thing about hanging out with a smoker.
Sort of, Sybil's gonna kick aside like some of the bush and things on the floor, sort of clear an area so they don't set, the forest alight. So sort of twigs and leaves and things that would go.
Yep.
And she sort of goes, right, light her up, and then I'll drop her onto the floor once she seems to have caught enough fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
The lighter flares, casting a small halo of light. Flame hovers just above the page, and for a breath, nothing happens. And then the fire won't take, not in the way that it should. You know, the paper should curl, blacken, shrivel like dry leaves in autumn, but instead, the page begins to shimmer subtly at first, like heat on asphalt, then violently, unnaturally, like celluloid melting in a broken projector. The ink runs upward, not away from the flame, forming new lines across the surface. Words rearrange, scenes shift. You can still make out your own name among the lines, but the dialogue has changed. Attempted destruction. Take one. Keep rolling. The script doesn't burn, but the air around it smells like smoke anyway, acrid and bitter and too close to home. And across the way, you hear the buzz of an intercom this far from the home. Your click with a mechanical buzz, a voice that you don't recognize. We don't reshoot this one, let them see it through. That script burns on the ground without burning, entirely too hot. And I think that's a good place to go to break. See you on the other side, don't go anywhere. Okay, we are back. Once Jess's camera quits doing a stupid thing, I don't know what keeps doing that. I'm gonna fix this one of these days. Anyway, we're back in the aftermath of the attempted destruction of this script. So, let us pick up there. Family, what would you like to do?
Is it same
It's
night?
not destroyed.
Yes, we are picking up immediately, so they are still outside by the remnants of this fire.
And it's the script is still completely intact, like not even the edges have burnt.
Correct.
Well, that didn't work. Any other ideas? Can we cut it up, like with a scissor, just in as tiny pieces as we can?
Oh, it's probably gonna give me bad luck or something. She picks it up, this time with her bare hands, and starts trying to rip the pages from the binding.
I'll also help. Rip.
Okay. It falls apart quite easily, actually, under your hands.
Can we rip up the pages?
Ominous, Lizzie.
What?
Do the pages all rip up?
Yeah?
Right. So,
Sorry, I'm lagging. I'm trying to fix my things.
I have the shovel near the family graveyard. There's probably one in the greenhouse too, but I don't want to go near there. The guy in there decided he disappeared after making eye contact with me and then went into mist. So I don't want to breathe that.
Well, maybe we can find like a big piece of wood to use as a shovel. Make a salt circle around it.
Cover it in salt.
Throw all our possible ideas at it. Something's got to stick.
Yep. Let's we can't be too far from the graveyard, so I'll nip over, grab the shovel, so I know where that is. We'll dig a nice deep hole. We'll wrap up the script in my handkerchief or maybe like my cardigan, cover it in salt, stick it in the hole, and hopefully this works.
Okay. Are you okay to go there by yourself, or you want me to come with you?
Yeah, but if you can make sure none of the pieces fly away.
Okay.
If need be, she'll sort of take her cardigan off and sort of
Yeah.
shove the paper
yeah.
in and pass it to
Tie
Holly.
it like
Just
a little.
add all the salt inside and really mix
Mhm.
it up.
So I'll carry that little cardigan bag.
Off to go get a shovel and then back to roughly where they attempted to burn it.
All right. What's going on inside of the house? Penelope, Miranda, anything exciting, or have we retired?
I think
I'm
Miranda has
contemplating
gone.
my life.
Miranda has gone to her bedroom. She's not asleep, but she's just kind of pacing back and forth. Um, very like just uncomfortably. She has the Fey hairpin in her hand, and she's she gets to the door and she kind of stops, and then she'll be like, "Nope, nope, nope. We need to leave that alone for right now," and then proceeds to just continue to pace.
You find yourself humming a little melody under your breath, and you realize that you're humming it because it is quietly playing from the ornate music box that sits on your vanity. It's a delicate melody, familiar, soft and winding and haunting, and it kind of hangs there like a memory. Miranda, where do you recognize this song from?
It was one that my father used to play um, on the piano when Reggie and I were children. And we used to fight him to get to sit, fight to get to be the person who sits on the bench with him as he played. And she stops and she looks at it and she goes, "Not, not right now, not right now. There are other things to deal with." But she doesn't stop. She's just like staring at it, even though she's reprimanded it.
All right. Rest of the family, anything else before the evening comes to an end?
The hole that I dig, I make sure to line it with salt. Have
Brought a
Stevie
whole
put
bag with you.
the bundle in. Yeah, she made a quick detour back to the house and she's got a big salt container you used to get from the store.
Right, yeah.
She's thoroughly lined it, gotten Stevie to put the cardigan in, lines it with more salt, and then starts putting the dirt back on top. Carefully for the first bit to make sure not to disturb the salt too much. Sort of salt is one of the things that Fae do not like. Same with iron. And to be honest, a lot of supernatural bad entities don't like salt. Salt is always a very good one to keep hold of you. Like spirits and things, it's also said that it wards off bad luck. Salt is great. Don't underestimate the power of salt. Oh, I need to buy more salt. I think I've got another container of salt back at the house. I hope so. There's
I think we've
not a lot
got
left
enough
in this.
salt, Sybil. It's like we've put in a lot of salt in there.
Yeah, we might need some more for the house, though. Maybe to eat with. There's not a lot in this container. She sort of shakes it a bit, and it's very empty.
We can get more salt tomorrow. I think it's getting late. Go back home.
Yep. I'm gonna keep hold of the shovel. I wonder if the metal
can
is
come in
iron.
handy.
I'll find out later.
We head back home?
Back home.
All right.
Home and maybe sleep or sit digging through stuff going, what can I use this protection for various things? And she is so happy that now someone believes her about this bullshit about protection stuff. She now just needs to convince the other 3 members of the family that she's correct as well.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You all find yourself into a fitful sleep, occasionally disturbed by crackling from the old intercom system that runs through Rookwood Manor, but otherwise it passes. You all find yourselves coming to consciousness the next morning. Who wakes up first?
I think I do. I wake up first because I cried myself to sleep rather early last night. Um, and I wake up and I think I hear, I'm not sure that I actually hear it or if I have heard it so much throughout the night that I'm just hearing it in my mind's ear now, the intercom system. And so I kind of lie there, just kind of staring at the ceiling, taking in everything that I learned last night and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with not only what I heard in the intercom system last night, the fact that the intercom system was continuously crackling throughout the night and it's never done that since I've gotten here. I'm just trying to piece it all together and it has already created a haze for the day.
All right.
I think Stevie has fully pulled out the intercom from the wall, like detached it to try to make it not make any noise.
It really catches you by surprise when you still continue to hear it throughout the night. It must be somewhere else in the wall, maybe wallpapered over long ago, but you can't quite find it.
But I think Stevie's found some solace in realizing that Sybil sees the same things that she's seeing, so she's not losing her mind. These are things that are actually happening in the house.
Stevie, this morning the first thing that catches your attention is the half-typed page in your typewriter. You know that was a fresh sheet of paper that you had put in before bed. It is the phrase that catches your attention says the family never spoke of what happened in the grove, but the silence becomes a character in the story, lurking in every room, waiting behind every door.
Stevie will take the piece of paper out of the typewriter and just head to Sybil's room.
All right.
Knock. Sybil, are you awake?
You can just hear ooh, you can just hear snoring through the door, like and it's the loud, annoying snoring that you can hear where something's clearly not right with her. But it's why she's on the other end of the house compared to the rest of the room.
Does she sleep in a weird way because she's superstitious about sleeping? Is that what causes the snoring?
Probably. I will find, there probably is a thing for that, and I will find it. I'm gonna be writing up a document for next time going, protective shit for different things to reference. She probably does sleep a weird way.
Sybil, even when you are jolted awake by the banging on your door, your eyes first go to your nightstand where you always keep your compact mirror. But what you notice about it today is that the glass seems to be warped slightly. When you glance at it, it has your reflection as always, but it seems almost delayed, a millisecond behind where it should be, something flickering in it.
She sort of sits up gingerly, takes it and goes, yeah, I'm up. And she sort of even though it's probably a bad idea, and she knows it's a bad idea, she's gonna touch the glass of the compact. Normally she leaves it shut when she goes to sleep, but it's
Okay.
open, and that just makes like she's like, I've got to test it. I need to find out what is going on with this mirror.
For the briefest moment, it seems to be preparing to give way under your touch. Before you blink and you realize it's just another piece of glass and everything looks fine. Just sleeping too heavily, maybe.
She just sort of gets a bit of salt, puts it on the glass, and shuts it. Uh, Salt is her best friend. Yeah, Stevie, you can come in.
Thanks. Stevie opens the door. Look at this. Read this. This wasn't there last night. I didn't type anything unless I've been sleepwalking. I found it in my typewriter. Talking about the grove. Do you remember anything happening in the grove?
Um, do I remember anything about the grove?
Oh, no clue what that is.
No. Do we have what an air? You probably can go, do you? And ask me back. Do we have anywhere that's like a grove on the family property?
I mean, yeah, there's probably a few places that could be considered like, small little standing groves. You all don't really spend too much time on the expansive grounds, so hard to say exactly. But this is a capital G, and you're not quite sure why.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's places that could be considered groves here.
Someone die in a grove?
Can I keep this?
Yeah. Are you going to put
Thank
salt
you.
on it?
Yeah. She sort of opens up one of the drawers on her bedside table, and it is lined with salt. She mixed salt and PVA glue, and she is
It's like
lined the
epoxy
inside.
salt.
Yeah, it's salt all on the sides, and there's salt along the top bit. So when it's shut, it is encompassed in salt. And there's a few odd other things that she's already got in there. And she sort of puts the bit of paper in there and shuts the drawer.
I guess that's the safest place to put it. Maybe we can
Maybe
show
at
it to
the
Elias maybe later.
maybe. Maybe Miranda knows if we have a grove with a capital G here, and she's older than me, so.
You want to ask Miranda? She's not going to tell me anything. Also, sorry to
Sure.
barge in on you like this so early in the morning. I was just really freaked out about this.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Sybil wears like one of those proper old pattern sort of like granny night dresses
Oh,
for sleep, and her hair's a mess. Imagine the scene from Frozen where the sister who has the ginger hair wakes up and the hair's that's her hair. Yeah, I'll ask her after breakfast. Otherwise, I might get a egg thrown at me.
yeah. Maybe a good idea could be you could show it to Penelope and she could show it to Miranda, and I'm sure Miranda will be happy to tell
That is
Penelope.
smart.
Let's do
Miranda
that.
and Penelope get along a lot better.
Yeah.
We'll
And
ask
you get along
Penelope
with
after
Penelope.
breakfast.
Yeah. Okay. Don't
I know.
tell them that it was from my typewriter. Just
I won't.
make it sound like it was your thing.
I'll just say I found it. How about that? Done. Easy.
Good idea. Yeah.
I'm gonna get dressed and I'll meet you downstairs for breakfast in a bit.
Okay. Okay. So I'll leave the room and go downstairs to eat.
Okay. Miranda?
Now, Miranda um, gets up and immediately, she was struggling yesterday. Today, she's like immediately putting on makeup, putting on something casual and nice with every intention of going down to the studio today. Um, and it just comes out of her room in a great mood and it just, goes down to the table and um, starts making some coffee and is just humming to herself and
So, stepping into the dining room, immediately you notice that the furniture has been rearranged with a sort of mathematical precision, each chair angled exactly 15 degrees towards where a camera would normally be positioned. The chandelier has been lowered a few feet from its normal height, and there are chalk lines, marks on the floor, indicating actor positions. One says Miranda dash tears. The other one says Stevie dash accusation.
that's. Is this a new Sybil thing? Coffee, coffee. Can't deal with her nonsense at the moment before caffeine. And I'll continue to make my coffee, just staring at the chairs like that's just bizarre. Oh, Stevie, I didn't see you there. I'm sorry. Um, was everything like this when you got here?
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Huh.
Maybe. Probably.
Walk over to like where the camera would be from the angle of the chairs and kind of look around. Do I see anything out of the ordinary?
But it's just set up differently than it normally is.
Turns around and looks back at it and says, I mean, they've got a pretty good eye for a scene.
Mm.
Huh. Walks over to where her, you know, mark is and steps and looks and says, that's not my good side, though. Unbelievable. Sits down in one of the chairs and pointedly says nothing to Stevie after that, unless Stevie brings something up.
I assume Sybil and Penelope would drift in at certain points. We gather in the dining room. How would we like to start
Yep.
our days?
She has the bit of paper sort of half folded up in a new cardigan. She always has cardigans. It's like her wardrobe overflows with cardigans. And she'll sort of look around like, who did this? There's
We're not really sure.
I thought you might have done it. I thought this might be one of your strange
nope.
little superstitions.
Mm-mm. For once, not me. And I'm pretty sure I locked the door last night when I came back in.
Yeah, I think we locked the door. We always lock the
Yeah.
door.
During all
Perhaps
of this conversation, I like beeline to make a bowl of cereal. And then, like, I am trying to bob and weave through everybody's conversations to just get back to my room because at this point, I feel like my energy is so low and I feel so defeated right now that I am trying so hard to keep my distance from everyone. I might even be a little like depressed.
ugh. I think Miranda is so confused that she doesn't stop to even take a bite out of Stevie using Penelope. Just sort of like gives her a sort of like muffled wave with her coffee cup as she bounces through the room. Um, and finally, she goes, "Well, I'm going to the studio this morning. Does anybody want to come with me down
Oh,
into town?"
pick up more salt on your way back. And do we have like a yeah? I'm only asking because you pay attention to some stuff more than me, Miranda. Do we have like a Grove capital G here, like somewhere on the property?
Is
Stevie
this
is paying close attention.
something that Miranda might be familiar with at all?
I think that Miranda would have a knowledge of the Grove, as this is the space that she primarily communicates with.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. She
But this is not, remember, you have a space to reach that location.
mm-hmm. She stops and she looks at you, raises an eyebrow. I thought you weren't interested in our benefactors.
Um. Well, I found this bit of paper, sort of, you know, by my door. Like someone put it there, and she'll sort of offer the bit of paper that she had been given by Stevie
Yeah,
to
she
Miranda
takes
to
it
take a look
from
at.
you, and she's kind of eyeballing between you and Stevie a minute, just sort of like calculatingly, and then looks at the paper and, well, before I go, do you want to see the Grove?
I would love to.
Don't bring any salt
Why?
I'm just gonna
or
tag
iron.
along as well.
No salt, no
Why?
iron, because they will be very offended.
Who are our benefactors?
She gives you a weird look and she goes, "How do you not know?"
Because I never touched the family business.
Our benefactors are. They are fey beings from a different world.
Faye?
Yes!
You right. Our family
Why do
has
you.
made a deal with the Fae.
Yes, long before you were ever born. If you had paid attention for 2 seconds while Dad was talking, you would know this.
I was never there.
Yes, that is why we have all this. That is why I have been trying to get everyone to focus in their artistic abilities so that we could do what they wanted, so we could keep the things that we have. And you keep putting salt up and driving me absolutely batshit.
Because the Fae are tricksters. The Fae.
Yes, and we want to make them happy.
No, we need to find a way out of this deal.
I'm probably
Yes, this
gonna
is
regret
all lovely.
asking you this.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Saying I'm probably gonna regret asking you this, Miranda, but have you seen some apparitions around, some random things out of the corner of your eye, and then you turn and there's nothing there?
She kind of pauses for a second. She says, "Why have you?"
A couple of people. I saw a butler in the kitchen yesterday, and then he was gone. I saw a little girl in a white dress and almost tripped over her, and then there was nothing there.
Okay. Well, these
The
are all
guy of bowler
questions.
hat in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
Well, come along. These are all questions that we should ask. We should ask of the benefactors if you're going to actually meet them with me. No salt. Empty your pockets. They won't hurt you, I promise. Also, she calls up Penelope, dear. We need you, please.
Sybil empties her cardigan pockets of salt, but she's saying nothing about the salt that she has hidden in her trouser pockets or in her bra.
Pocket salt.
Stevie shows Sybil that she's got some salt in her pocket too. Also, she's got like a stoic face, but inside she's really happy that Miranda is taking her to see the Fae for the first time.
Sybil is
And
furious.
I'm not coming out of my bedroom. Like, I hear you yell for me, but I'm not leaving my bed.
She'll call one more time, and when you don't come, she'll just shrug and teenagers and switch out her shoes to comfortable, more garden shoes, and head out to the
Those
archway.
shoes are so embarrassing when you swing the front door open and there's a woman standing with her hand poised, getting ready to knock, and oh, Miranda, darling. She's got like the steel gray hair, dressed in like 1920s period clothing. And she goes, "Remember Margaret, darling, I was just cast as the matriarch. Are you excited for today?"
She grins in her most Hollywood grin. There's no expression in her eyes. It is all a complete mask. And she goes, Margaret, dear, you look stunning.
Oh, and you, darling,
Absolutely stunning.
haven't aged a day.
Oh, Margaret, this is my sister Sybil,
Oh,
and this
hello.
is Stevie.
Hi.
I,
Who
Um,
is our sister-in-law?
This is
yes, I'm so
very.
sorry. Did I forget to say
I,
that?
Yes.
I don't care. It is wonderful to see you, darling. I've got Tommy with me, of course. He's bringing all the equipment. He's working as the gaffer on this one. Can you believe it? And so we'll need all of his cases brought in. And then, of course, they insisted on Dr. Brennan being here to make sure that everybody's mentally healthy. So it looks to be quite the full day. You'll
She just
never believe who they cast to be your grandfather.
she just kind of blinks for a second.
are you shooting inside the house? Do you mean?
Oh, we were.
Are you guys the ones that rearranged our furniture?
Oh, well, I haven't been here before, of course, but we were told to be here today.
Who told you?
The studio?
Oh, Margaret
And
dear, Margaret dear, please, if you will just have a seat in the study over there,
Of course.
we will make sure you have some refreshments, make sure we get everything up, and we will direct them where to put the things. Let me talk to my sisters for just a minute,
Of course,
um,
darling.
and
Take your
we'll.
time. Dear,
Yes.
why do you have such dreadful flower arrangements? You look around and realize that every bouquet that has filled the table in this foyer is wilted and blackened. The water is sludgy, murky, thick with algae.
Oof, when did that
I
happen?
remind me to
You
fire our
haven't got to
housekeeper.
replace your staff, dear. I can recommend someone.
We we'll have a conversation about that in the downtime. In the meantime, please make yourself at home. And she grabs both Sybil and Stevie and pulls them into another room and calls up once again to Penelope. Penelope, dear, we really need you down here.
And because I can tell the sense, like the tone of Miranda's voice has changed, and she now sounds like she might actually lose it. I'm trying to like prevent that from happening at all costs. So I'm gonna get up out of bed and see what the hell it is she needs from me.
Yeah, she's not going to say anything until Penelope gets down there, and then she is going to look and she's just going to go, "This has to be Elias. Your brother
Yeah.
has to be involved in this. Why wouldn't he tell us that they're filming at the house? That we're starting
It's
filming
Elias.
today?
Elias just does things and he doesn't say half the time.
Yeah. He lives in his own head
And they're
most
filming
of the
about
time.
us?
I
There
think
seem to be marks for us.
you need to
I
speak to
didn't even know
your
I was in the
friend.
thing. But maybe they've cast someone else as Stevie.
I don't know. This is very bizarre. But something is going on here. We need to find your brother. He's got to be here somewhere. And she'll go over
What
to Elias's office and start rapping on the door.
It takes a moment, longer than you expected, before the door opens. You realize that you actually didn't hear footsteps approaching first, but the door swings open and you find Elias's assistant. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rookwood has left for the studio for the day."
Why has he left for the studio when the studio has apparently come here?
He didn't tell me anyone was coming here.
Well, there is a whole crew.
There must be some mistake. I'll handle it. I'll be with you in just a moment. And he closes the door rather forcefully. And you hear it lock from the other side.
Rude.
What a rude little shithead. This house is in no shape. What is the deal with those flowers? How
Yeah, how have we never noticed
You
these wilting
you want
flowers
to
before?
know? Because they probably wilted overnight because there's fey fuckery around.
there have been flowers in this house before, and there's never been any. Where's the script?
Can I go back to my room?
Hold on. I walked by that table twice now. Where's the
Mm-hmm.
script, you two?
It's not on the table?
Sybil,
Maybe the
I can't keep.
studio. Maybe the studio people took it. You know, they've moved everything around. They probably took it with them.
Sybil has a straight face. I cannot hold straight faces. When I know that I'm in trouble. And Sybil's like, I've got no idea. I went out to deal with the broken mirror last night and bumped into Stevie because she asked me about something. And after we dealt with the mirror, we came back here.
Hmm.
Something is not right. And she looks at Penelope and she says, I am sorry, dear, but we have got to figure out what is going on. And if you're not down here already, you will probably be pulled down here by
Probably.
whatever is going on. Someone has pissed somebody off. And she kind of looks at the three of you and is just giving you that look. And if you've pissed the benefactors off, we could be in for some trouble.
What
So,
would piss them off? Like, what kind of action would be
like,
something that pisses them off?
denying gifts that they've given us, like a long lost script?
I I make eye contact with Sybil, like just for a second. Oh, hmm.
I don't think that was one of our brother's scripts.
No, it was from our grandfather.
I don't think it was his either, considering that the text on it kept changing.
Yeah, it was in a different language. We couldn't even read it.
And we had left it alone after having a look at it. I didn't even touch it with my bare hands. I used my handkerchief.
You should ask Margaret. Maybe she took it. Maybe she knows where it is.
She doesn't even know how to open a bottle of Valium. Cannot imagine
What?
she took it.
What
What
about
did that have to do with the script? Rather.
Elias's assistant? Could he have moved things, or could have our brother moved things before he left the studio?
Maybe,
Yeah,
but
that's
something
the
isn't
most
right.
logical answer.
I'm
Whatever.
still not understanding why I'm not in my bed.
You know what? Fine. Fine. I will handle it as usual. You all do whatever it is you do, and I will take care of this. And she
No,
just
let's
storms
Show
go
me
out.
the
see.
great.
Let's go see the Fae.
I'm following.
Miranda,
She'll turn
yes.
around and she'll look at you and she'll be like, "We have a full studio in our house that we have to
They
take
can
care of
entertain
at the moment."
themselves. They
And
can
I
entertain
don't deal with
themselves. They can arrange
all of that.
things. We can have them, give them some snacks.
Eddie's assistant said that he'd deal with it.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm not touching it. I don't touch any of this stuff anyway. I never have, and I never will.
Fine. Come with me. And she strides out the back door, just back ramrod straight, like she is. Her hair is like twitching in places.
You,
TV follows.
are we all going?
Fine, come with me.
Penelope's like,
I'm
nope,
not.
done. Penelope's like, fuck you guys.
All right. You all head out the back door. Penelope, you head deeper into the house, and you've walked this hallway 100 times, maybe more. It's one of those forgettable passages, narrow, tucked between wings, mostly used to just get from one place to the other. Sometimes you stop seeing it altogether. And that's why it takes you a few steps too long to realize that something's wrong. The light is different here, dimmer than it should be. Not from any blown bulbs, just flatter, more yellowed. And then you see it, a door where no door has ever been. The wallpaper stutters just before it, the repeating pattern doubling for a moment like a skipped frame. The door blends seamlessly into the wall. Same ivory paint, same molding, but the handle gives it away. Polished brass unnaturally smooth. There's no dust on the threshold, no scuff marks on the floorboards around it. In fact, the wood beneath it looks raw, like something peeled this door into existence, and the house is still trying to figure out what to do with it. There's no hinges, no keyhole, just the handle. And it's colder here, still. What'd you like to do?
So I notice it and I rub my eyes again just because I've been laying in bed for what feels like several hours at this point, and I need to make sure that what I'm seeing is what I'm seeing, because we've noticed in this house that not everything is what it seems when you see it with your own eyes. So once my vision comes back, I approach the door and I like feel it to, to make sure it's real as well, because I don't trust
It
anything.
feels real.
Um, and because it feels real, and because I know that there's really there's no one here to stop me at this point. There's nothing to stand in my way to tell me I'm doing something wrong. I grab the handle and I turn it.
It clicks open without resistance. It swings inward. Beyond is a narrow hallway, gently sloping down. The floor is carpeted in deep red, short, tightly woven, and the walls are lined with a heavy black fabric that drinks up sound. Each step feels swallowed. At the end is a single room, square, low ceilinged, warmer than it should be. The air smells of dust and something sharp, old celluloid maybe. At the center sit 5 velvet chairs in a perfect arc fixed to the floor. They face a single wide projection screen stretched across the far wall. There's no projector that you can see, but the screen flickers faintly. Silver light moving like breath. No image, just the soft mechanical whir of something starting up. In the lower corner, white letters fade in. Scene 61, the screening room. Interior, night, take 1. What would you like to do?
I sit down. I sit down to watch whatever is going to play out, if anything is going to play out.
You see flickers of images, but it doesn't quite come into cohesion.
Brenda also sits down, just kind of curious about it.
Okay. Can have you all stumble together.
And then just sort of looks over. Maybe it requires all 5 of us?
Elias is somewhere. So that only leaves the 4 of us.
Stevie sits down too.
Sybil's not sitting down. She doesn't trust any of this.
Sybil, you have to sit down to see if it works with just us.
You can put some salt on the chair. Makes you feel better.
Sybil, sit.
Fine, I'll sit. And she's sort of very hesitant in uncomfortable about sitting down in what probably looks like to be a rather comfy chair.
Almost like a theater. The lights dim. Static dances across the screen before settling on a pale, moonlit garden where Miranda stands alone among thorned roses, her face is drawn with anguish, lips trembling, her hands clutch the stems, fingers scraping against the thorns. She cries, a time stamp glows. 3 a.m., last Tuesday. The image cuts sharply to a darkened study where Elias paces, speaking, his voice thick with desperation. Reginald's cold, accusing voice replies from the shadows. Elias hurls a crystal decanter at the wall. Glass explodes like frozen screams, dark stains pulsing beneath like fresh blood. In Penelope's studio, she moves like a storm, brush in hand, tears streaking her face. On the canvas, the grandfather she's never seen, standing rooted among ancient, gnarled trees, his painted eyes alive and watching. Penelope pauses, locking eyes with the camera. He's coming back. He has to. Cut to Stevie in a cramped corner, fingers pounding typewriter keys frantically. Crumpled sheets litter the floor as she types the same phrase over and over. The Grove remembers. A trickle of blood spills from her nose, dripping to the page like the curse bleeds through her. Shadows twist behind Sybil as she moves through empty halls, their whispers curling around her. A shadow leans close, touches her shoulder with cold fingers. Her face crumples in a silent scream, trapped behind hollow eyes. The screen fades into a montage of quiet desperation. Morning rituals played out like ghosts, conversations with empty space, voices trembling with confession. Close-ups reveal raw sorrow. Miranda cradling an invisible letter. Stevie burning her words while whispering apologies. Penelope endlessly repainting grief. Sybil speaking with shadows only she can see. The camera pulls back, revealing the house alive with eerie motion. Chairs rearranging themselves, photographs twisting, flowers wilting and blooming in cruel, endless cycles. Finally, the view settles on the four Rookwoods, seated in a dim screening room, trapped in a looping nightmare of watching and being watched. The projector hums low, the film bleeding into a ghostly white glow, waiting for the next act to begin, as a faint, chilling voice echoes somewhere deep in the house. Cut. Let's go to credits.
And action.
Oh, I love a good cliffhanger. Makes me so very happy. Oh, my friends, thank you for playing my game. I can get rid of our dramatic music now, I guess. Oh, let's go to. We got a couple of new people tonight. So we do this really cool thing at the end of every session called Stars and Wishes, and we talk about what we liked and what we hope happens the next time we play. So let's do those. Let's start with Maeve tonight. Will you give me your stars and wishes, please, my friend?
I think I have to throw my stars out to. I'm gonna give them to Jess. Um, I think that the scene with
Always a good
Miranda and
choice.
Jess was really great, especially because of the complete understanding of what was going on, right, for both characters, and just played along with it very well. So I really really love that. So once again, for someone who does not have a lot of role play experience, your instincts are perfect. So
Spot on. I was told
um
this week that Jess is the real deal, and I would have to agree with that one.
as far as wishes go, I am just I got to know what's going on. Like I'm so into this, like especially that last scene. I was just like, oh,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
shit's getting real fucking weird. Let's go.
You asked for it.
I did. I did.
Literally, it was the wish last time.
So I'm very excited to just see where this excels into.
Thank you very, very much. Me too. Oh, Jess, how about you, friend?
I think I'm gonna give my stars to Sybil and her salt, of course.
Yeah, right.
Um,
I love how this is
I
a running
think
thing now.
yes, Sybil and her salt, they are one, okay? But I think that the whole scene with Stevie as well, because the whole scene with them and the script and I could just this it felt very much like watching a movie scene, like watching two people who have no clue what they're doing try to figure out what the hell they're doing. Like,
Right? We just gotta
and it was
poke it until something
Yeah.
happens.
does
Yeah,
somebody have a stick?
let's
Or
fuck
a
around and find
match.
out.
Yes, yes. Well, you entered the fuck around stage, so I had to deliver the find out stage.
But you only get to find out half because leave on cliffhanger, duh.
Yeah.
Ah, duh, every time. Was it
But I
wishes?
think I think my wish is to see my wish is to see more of the dynamics like between all of us really cause more friction in the other dynamics going on. Like I'm excited to see how much we all can't stand each other and then some of us can stand each other, but then we're all on the same mission together.
I love that so much. Makes me really happy. Oh, thank you very much, Jess. Mushy.
A lot happened,
A lot happened,
and
and you weren't here last time either, were
no,
you?
I
So
wasn't.
you got gut
Uh,
punched. Yay.
yes, and to be honest, I thought, because Sid was off doing something, I hadn't watched last time's episode either, so I truly had no clue what was going to happen. And once again, always blown away by our amazing DM and
Stop it.
my lovely, co-stars, as to say. I'd have to say though, my star will have to go to Jess. Loving to sort of see, Penelope come more to life and go through this tumultuous situation of bullshittery, to put it simply.
Bullshittery.
Yeah.
The fake
Also known
fuckery.
as Miranda.
And Sybil, just the
And
Rookwood
the
family.
whole family.
Wishes. I want to get to the end of this. I love that you do own cliffhangers, but I also hate it.
I love it. I love it.
I want more.
I felt
I
the
always,
same way.
granted, that's always my wish. I always want more.
More. I
More!
completely agree. Thank you, Mushy. Nida.
I think my star, I want to give it to all of them because
Right.
everyone did a really
You guys
great
are
job.
so good. You guys are just
But
so
also to
good.
Lizzie because that ending was just fantastic. So creepy, so poetic, so beautiful.
Oh,
I think my wish is that I'm hoping now that it was pretty heartbreaking that Stevie found out that, you know, this husband that she had loved so much also loved someone else. But I'm hoping that this will help her get over him finally and realize that, maybe he wasn't that great.
Your husband
Cheating
might
on
have been
her.
a whore.
So, yeah, exactly. So maybe it'll give her more empathy for Penelope too. So that's my wish.
That's great to wish. Oh, guys. Well, we are not going to be doing this in a couple weeks because I have another thing that I have to do. So we will have to discuss our next session, but we will be back in a few weeks. Maybe I could do it next week. Anyway, we'll talk about that offline. We've got other things happening. We've got Hedge on July the 5th. That also has Mushy, who is incredible. What have we got? I think we're going to. I don't know. We've got lots of other things happening. Spelljammers going on, and Shiver Gothic is going on, and we've got a couple of special guest GMs coming up, and things are happening. You should find us on all the socials, and you should find us on the Discord, and you should help support us because we're so much fun, right? Right. Awesome. Anyway, we'll be back.
Forced
So
fun.
we will see you all next time. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye.